Some of us bear our children very intentionally. We plan ahead and know when we want to start our families. Others might have motherhood thrust upon them quite unexpectedly, or maybe as an afterthought, a child who came along after we thought our family was complete. Whatever the circumstances, we find ourselves holding this little baby in our arms. It doesn't matter how many children we have. Each one is a miracle. We count their toes and we hold their hands in ours, marveling that this tiny child, so dependent on us for all their needs, could have been created within us. For Mary, impregnated by the Holy Spirit, she had no doubt that God had been part of that process. Do we remember that we also are co-creators with God? The Bible tells us that each and every child born is of God's will. Psalm 139:13 says, "For it was you who formed my inmost parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb." In God's eyes, no child is ever a mistake. My mother never intended to get pregnant when she did. So when she found herself with a child and no husband, she gave me up for adoption. Although I was an unintended consequence of a romantic episode during wartime, I was intentional in God's eyes. He had a purpose for me. He has a purpose for each of you. And he has a purpose for each child who is born. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would give sight to the blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm the storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? And when you kissed your little baby, you've kissed the face of God. Wow. Mary did kiss the face of God when she kissed Jesus. But the Bible tells us that we are all created in the image of God. Genesis 1:27 says, "So God created humankind in his image. In the image of God he created them, male and female. He created them." That baby you hold in your arms is the image of God. Each baby sleeping in a crib at home is no different from Jesus sleeping in the manger. They need to be loved and protected and encouraged to grow into the full stature of who God created them to be. We ourselves are created in the image of God, and God has a purpose for each and every one of us. Each day when we wake up, we should offer up a prayer. God, this day belongs to you. You have a purpose and a place for me, and you have a purpose and a place for my child. Guide us by your Holy Spirit to be that person you created us to be. The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The blind will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lord. We have no idea what our children might do or become. Do you think Michelangelo's mother ever thought he might become a great artist? Do you think Jonas Salk's mother knew he would develop a vaccine to prevent a crippling disease? Do you think Albert Einstein's mother ever dreamed that her baby could change the course of science? Or did Barack Obama's mother ever believe, as she held her little baby, that he might one day be president of the United States? We have to believe that if we are faithful in our parenting, if we remember that each child has the potential for greatness, if we are encouraging and affirming to our children, they too may do greater things than we could ever imagine. Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy was heaven's perfect Lamb? This sleeping child you're holding is the great I am. As Christmas approaches, please take time out of the hustle and bustle of the season to remember Mary and the Christ child, and to consider how you and your child are similar. Remember that although Jesus was the Son of God, first he was a baby and a toddler, a child to be held and nurtured and loved.